ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ 102 समन्वयाध्याय एतत्सूक्तं द्विस्वास्थ्यकारिभिः तर्कैः सम्भावनार्थस्य द्वितीयाध्याय ईरिता. I did not fragment it properly. I did not fragment. So Samanvaya Adhyaya Etat and then Suktam Di Swastya Karibi. Anyway, so in these verses beginning from verse number 97 to 134, a special topic which is very, very relevant to all the seekers, especially the people who are listening to the Vedanta since long. For them, this is a very important topic which Vidyaranya is discussing here, and that is a pratibandha nivrutti. So, removal of obstacles. So, what type of obstacles are there? Which type of obstacles will go by what? Sadhanam, etc. is discussed here. In short, a looming large, a question which is looming large in a person, that I am gaining knowledge day in and day out, but I am not feeling that I'm not gaining the benefit of the knowledge. So there are obstacles, definitely. That's a simple answer. If I am gaining a knowledge, there is a clarity also. Yeah, there is a clarity. What is Brahman? What is Atma? What is Jagat? What is consciousness? All this clarity we have. It's not that we don't have a clarity. We have a clarity, and yet clarity in knowledge, and yet we feel that we don't have a benefit. So there are obstacles. And generally a seeker does not realize the obstacles. That's a problem. And the seeker blames either Shastra, teacher, etc. that this thing is going to happen. When I could not recognize the problem, I could not identify, I could not fix the problem. Well, I feel something else is a problem. But that's not the case here. So basically obstacles are present here only. And so there seems to be a block between a knowledge and the result of knowledge. That's how we call it as a sapratibandhaka aparoksha jnanam. So jnanam which is generated in you is a aparoksha jnanam only. So basically when you do shravanam, then you start saying I am Brahman, etc. So it is aparoksha jnanam only. But yet the knowledge, the benefit of knowledge is not there. Therefore we say it is as a sapratibandhaka aparoksha jnanam. Pratibandhena saha vartate iti sapratibandhakam. So jnanam, it's a visheshana for a jnanam. And that is sahabahuri. That's a sahabahuri. Samasa. So it should be converted to apratibandhaka jnanam. So na pratibandha, so apratibandhaka. So Vidyaranya divided these obstacles of pratibandha into three. And first is a pramana asambhavana, which we discussed, which goes by shravanam. Prameya Sambhavana, the second type of obstacles which goes by Mananam, and third is the Viparita Bhavana, which goes by Nididhyasanam. So, and then Shravanam itself is divided into, two layers of, two levels of Shravanam. Initially, the Shravanam does not remove the obstacles, but its initial Shravanam is for gaining the knowledge. This person who is exposed to the Shastra and the teacher, he gains knowledge initially. He does not have that doubt. How come Upanishad talks about how come Ramanujacharya talks about Vishishtadvaitam based on the same Upanishad? How come Madhvacharya this kind of thing will not be there in his mind. He is in a process of gaining knowledge right now. So, he's in the process of gaining aparoksha jnana, because Mahavakya Shravanam is doing. Mahavakya, and therefore, he is gaining aparoksha jnana. That's the first level of Shravanam. And then, so we call it as a Adhyayana Rupa Shravanam. Adhyayanam. Well, Shravanam in form of a study of a Vedanta, as revealed by the teacher. And so, aim of the student at that level is grasping of the teaching given by the teacher. And this Shravanam will give you Jnanam, Aparoksha Jnanam, but those obstacles have not gone. Suppose to such a person, somebody comes and tells, well, the Ramanujacharya talks about, based on Kathopanishad mantra, that this is, Upanishad talks about a Vishishtadvaita darshanam. So, he will not be able to answer. He will not be able to answer because he has not addressed. So, he is in the initial level of a Shravanam. And then the second Shravanam is not second round of Shravanam. When somebody told me, then second round of Shravanam. Means Kathopanishad, the Ishakena Katha Prashna Mundak Mandukya Taitirihi, and then all this he listened initially. He gained a paroksha jnana. Then he again starts. It is not like that. It is not like that. You keep on listening and listening and listening. He automatically gets converted to second level of Shravanam. That's it. Not second round of Shravanam. There is no second round. Therefore, because you will definitely ask, then after second level of Shravanam, second round of Shravanam, should I do further Shravanam, third round of it? There is nothing like that. Paunah punyena Shravanam kuryat. Asuptehe amrutehe kalam nayet vedanta chintaya. Only one goal, every seeker is required to have a single goal. His mind should be saturated with this Vedanta Chintana. Then only Nishtha comes. There is no other solution. I mean, keeping that gulab jambu, you have to, if you want to have a sweet ball, gulab jambu like a sweet ball, you have to immerse it for a length of time. If you just dip it and bring it out, and if you taste it, your mouth will have a distaste, I'm telling you. So if you want really, this is the thing. Whether you do Shravanam, whether you do Nididhyasanam, etc. Mananam I'm not saying separately because Shravanam, Mananam goes together. Anyway, so either you do Shravanam or Nididhyasanam, well, ultimately your mind should be soaked in the juice of Vedanta. That's all it. Then only Nishtha will come. Then only Nishtha. So asuptehe amrutehe. Till you go to the bed today, amrutehe, till you, and like that every day, till the death comes, Vedanta chintaya kalam nayet. Vedanta chintaya. Just think about it. But then how can I keep the book all the time? You need not keep. The Shravanam itself gives you so much data. So think. From any point start thinking that this is Brahman. But I can't think. Then do Shravanam. Get further data. Get further clarity. That's it. There is no other way. There is no other way. And today we are going to discuss, this is a very beautiful topic. Viparita Bhavana, especially Viparita Bhavana, has been discussed by Vidyaranya in an elaborate manner, because he knows that while doing Vyavahara, something happens by which we forget Vedanta, even after 15 years. We remember Vedanta only at the time of a class. No, no, afterwards, no. So he's addressing this issue in a big way. How to overcome that? So well, ultimately. So anyway, Adhyana Rupa Shravanam. So two types of Shravanam: Adhyana Rupa Shravanam and Vichara Rupa Shravanam. Vichara Rupa Shravanam means which removes a Shravanam which removes the confusion regarding the purport of the Vedanta. Because when somebody says about Ramanujacharya, talks about that Jiva is a part of Brahman, etc., from the same Upanishad, on the basis of same Upanishad, then we think, yeah, then really Shankaracharya ji is right, or Madhvacharya is right, or Ramanujacharya is right. Who is right? What is the purport of this Upanishad, etc. So that's a pratibandha, and so that should go, and that is that goes by a proper interpretation of the Vedanta. Will remove this pramana asambhavana. So asambhavana means a doubt pertaining to the pramana, the Upanishad. Well, will go, and you need not have to worry. You have to keep on listening, just sitting and listening. Nothing else to be done. All has to be done by the teacher. Upakrama upasamhara abhyasaha apurvata phalam arthavadopapatischa lingam tatparya nirnay. So he will say, look boy, or just see there. Upakrama, just see what is in the beginning, just see what is at the end, what is in the middle. See, Tattvamasi is there 9 times, and etc. etc. And so ultimately, you are Brahman, or Jiva Brahma Ikyam is the purport of one Upanishad. Then keep it aside, take the another Upanishad, and see, all Upanishads have a reconciliation in Jiva Brahma Ikyam. That's a Tatparya that will remove the doubt pertaining to Shastra, Pramana. So that's the first level of this doubt. Well, goes by this Shravanam, Pramana Asambhavana. So this Aparoksha Jnanam is free now. Aparoksha Jnanam is free from Pratibandha. For few obstacles have gone from this Aparoksha Jnanam. Aparoksha Jnanam is Nishtha. That's all. Aparoksha Jnanam is Nishtha. I am Aparoksha Atma. Yes, Sakshat Aparokshat Brahma. So Aparoksha Jnanam is Nishtha. That's all. I am Brahman. I am consciousness. That's it. This is Aparoksha Jnanam. Or this is called Atma Sakshatkara. This is self-realization. This is self-realization. You realize that self is the reality. That's all. There is no other self-realization. If you realize the self, keeping yourself as an individual, then it is not a self, it is non-self. So non-self realization, that is. Ultimately, so this is Aparoksha Jnanam is Aparoksha Jnanam. But we say with the Pratibandha, because these things are still looming large in the head. So when somebody asks and then you could not resolve it, you need not answer other person, but you should be able to resolve. But somebody, he is not able to resolve. That's not your issue. You should resolve. Your mind should say that cannot be the thing. This is the Tatparya of the Upanishad. And so this is the first level of obstacles go by Shravanam. So keep on listening. Just keep on listening. Nothing else. Keep on listening and listening and listening and listening. That's it. There is no other way. Anyway, so by this lingas, Shad lingas, well, we do this textual analysis and conclude that Advaita Vada alone, Advaita Vada, that interpretation alone is a correct interpretation. And so we take these Dvaita Vakyas are there. In Upanishad, all types of Vakyas are there. And some Vakyas which are suitable for Vishishtadvaitin, part, Jiva is a part of Brahman and all that. So that all things are, well, basically. And I told you about Antaryami. Brahmana talks about very clearly Jiva and Ishvara are different, right? So he is a controller, and this is, Jiva is a controller, and controller can never be one. And therefore it is Dvaita Vakya, basically. Antaryami Brahmana is a Dvaita Vakya. Totally, not one mantra, it's a whole thing. And talks about all the elements, etc., are controlled by the Ishvara being present in, he is an inner controller, etc. Antaryami means Ishvara. And then lastly says this Atma alone also is controlled by the Antaryami. Atma means the Jivatma. So therefore Jivatma is controlled by Antaryami, means Jivatma and Ishvara are different. So clear in Antaryami Brahmana. And therefore, how will you negate now? If you negate, there will be a Pramana Kopa. If you say this Vakya is not correct, means Veda is not correct. If this Vakya is not correct, Tattvamasi, how can be that Vakya may be right? Yeah, if this Vakya is wrong, that can be also wrong. I am Atma Brahma can be wrong. Therefore, there should be a reconciliation of everything. And that reconciliation is done by Vyasacharya ji in the first chapter of the Brahma Sutra, and that is Samanvaya Adhyaya. Samanvaya means reconciliation. Any Upanishad, any page you pick up, the Tatparya is this. Whether it is a Vishishtadvaiti Vakyam, Jiva is a part of Brahman, whether it has been Jiva and Ishvara are different, or whether it is a Mahavakya, Jiva, Ishvara, identity, etc. Tatparya is Jiva, Ishvara, Aikyam alone is Tatparya. Then how will you resolve all these Vakyas? That's a job of a Brahma Sutra. Okay? And therefore, I mean that's true. Dvaitavada is accommodated in Advaitam. Vishishta Dvaitavada is accommodated in Advaita. In fact, we are Vishishta Dvaitin, we are Dvaitins. And I am Advaiti also. Yeah? I am Advaitin, I am Vishishta Advaitin. That's how this Advaita is a very confusing thing for many people. They don't understand that, from a certain standpoint, Vishishta Advaitam is right. From a certain standpoint, this Dvaita also is right. But then from final standpoint, we have a final reality which they can never think of. From that standpoint, everything is Mithya. Dvaita also is Mithya and Vishishta Dvaita is Mithya. And what is Mithya is accommodated by Satyam. Satyam alone is Adhishthanam of Mithya. So all the Dvaita, entire Srushti which is Dvaita, is accommodated and is by this Advaita. Because Advaita alone is the reality of the whole Dvaitam, Srushti. And therefore, that is not a problem at all for us. And so many people do not understand this, that this is from a different standpoint we are saying. Anyway, we discussed, of course, that in the last class also. So anyway, so there is a seeming creation, no real creation, etc. So and therefore this they don't understand. So and that's how Vishishtadvaitin basically asks these questions to us, that if you are like this, means everything else is mithya, how do you interpret Srushti Vakya? Well, we interpret Srushti Vakya. Srushti is mithya. In fact, we introduce Srushti for this purpose, that everything is one alone. That's all it is. So whole Dvaita is generated from Advaita. It's a simple thing. It's a simple thing. Before Dvaitam is generated, Srushti came about. What was there? If we ask a question, three possibilities are there. Before Dvaitam is generated, they cannot deny. Dvaitam is Srushti. Anything which is created automatically says, I am different from everything else. Even two parts you create on a same machine. One part is in a given space, given time, with a given limitations, given object-wise limitations, given attributes, let's say. Then second part, if you can count second, it is Dvaitam. That's it. There is nothing else. If you can count something second, means it is Dvaitam. That's it. Advaitam is Ekam Eva Advitiyam. There is nothing other than that. You cannot count. When you go to that level of a reality, you cannot count. It's not available for counting. That's all it is. And therefore, Dvaitam is generated, definitely. Creation means Dvaitam. Anything which creates automatically is distinct from everything else. Even if it is most similar, even the the twins, they say, twins are born. Still, one is one, the other is other. Anyway, so before Dvaitam is generated, what was there? This we discussed recently in a chapter 11 of a Pancadasi. Well, before Dvaitam is generated, Dvaitam was there, you cannot say. Then what is generated? Before a child is born, child was there. Then where is the Srushti of a child? Where is the creation of a child? Creation means which was not there before has been created. So before Dvaitam was created, if Dvaitam was there, there is no Dvaitam, there is no question of talking about the creation of Dvaitam. Therefore, Dvaitam cannot be there before Dvaitam is generated. Dvaitam cannot be there. Then second possibility is, well, before Dvaitam is generated, There is something, third thing, not Dvaitam, not Advaitam, third thing they will say. There cannot be third thing. There are only two things, Dvaitam or Advaitam. There are only two things. There is no in between. Either Dvaitam or Advaitam. So before Dvaitam is generated, some third thing was there, other than Dvaitam and Advaitam, not possible. Therefore, Parishesha Nyaya. Right? Parishesha Nyaya. Baki kya reh gaya? Well, before Dvaitam is generated, Advaitam was there. Okay? So, before Dvaitam was generated, Advaitam was there, means Dvaitam has come from Advaitam? Yes. And that is what Srushti. That is what the Srushti is. Tasmadva etasmad atmanah akasha sambhutah. Tasmad brahmanah etasmad atmanah akasha sambhutah. From that Brahman alone, the whole Dvaita Prapancha has come. Means right now also, it is same Brahman alone. That is a Srushti Tatparya. Srushti Tatparya is not talking about Srushti. If Srushti is a Dvaitam, and then Shastra negates Srushti and Dvaitam, etc., and saying Advaitam is the truth, then why Srushti should be talked about by Upanishad? That's what the question of many people. If Upanishad has a purport in Advaitam, why Upanishad should talk about Dvaitam? An elaborate discussion of a Srushti. So we say, to show you that whatever is created is mithya. But whatever is created is mithya, why it should be told to me? Because you are thinking that what is created is Satyam. You are thinking, not Upanishad is thinking. You are coming with this idea. The Pramata comes with the idea to this Pramana, to the teacher, that whatever is there is Satyam. I am Satyam, I am different from the whole creation. And whole creation, everything is different. So you take the Srushti as a Satyam, therefore Upanishad obliges to tell you that whole thing has come from Brahman alone, and right now also it is Brahman. By saying that, entire Dvaitam has been negated. That is the purport. Anyway, and so basically, how do you interpret Srushti Vakya? Well, we say, we have to interpret all the statements properly of this Srushti Vakya, etc. And Vedanta is teaching Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Aham Brahmaiva Na Paraha. So this is Pramana Sambhavana Nivrutti, basically. And this we studied in Samanvaya Adhyaya. We studied means, I think that we have studied together. Okay? Samanvaya Adhyaya etat suktam. Samanvaya Adhyaya, in that Samanvaya Adhyaya of the Brahma Sutra, the first chapter of the Samanvaya of the Brahma Sutra, suktam, sushtu uktam. It has been very well said. So Shravanam ultimately removes the later Shravanam, advanced Shravanam, Vichara Rupa Shravanam, will remove these doubts that Upanishad, even though seemingly contradict each other, by introducing Jiva is different from Brahman, Jiva is a part of Brahman, and also somewhere else by Mahavakya like Jiva is Brahman, while Tatparya is Jiva is Brahman. And other statements we analyze it properly. And we get this two, where Swamiji these two types of Shravana has been talked about. In Vichara Sagaram it is there, of Nishaldasa. So whenever if you get time, please listen to Vichara Sagaram, if you have a time. Swamiji, you are telling every day new text, then what we will study. So forget that. But I am just saying there it has been discussed. So okay, these two types of Shravanam, Adhyayana Rupa Shravanam, Vichara Rupa Shravanam, etc. has been talked about in Vichara Sagara. Vichara Sagara has many good things. I mean, in case if you have a time and to want to listen to. Well, and so one for gaining knowledge, Shravanam, and one for removing this interpretational confusion, interpretation of the Vedic statements. Well, so that is a later Shravanam, Vichara Shravanam. Anyway, so this Shravanam is regarding Shravanam. Now Vidyaranya enters into topic of Mananam. Well, Upanishad reveals Advaitam, no doubt. Okay, no problem. We have understood. Kathopanishad reveals this Advaitam. Mundaka Upanishad reveals Advaitam. This is revealed Advaitam. Okay. Don't talk about it. Fine. Upanishad reveals this Advaitam, that's true. But my sense organs reveal Dvaitam. Now how will you resolve? Sense organs are mithya. Don't talk about like that. Pratyaksha is a mithya. Shastra is correct. No, No. As much Pratyaksha has the same validity as much as Shastra has a validity. Yeah. Yeah. Pratyaksha has a validity. You cannot say Pratyaksha is Mithya. Shastra is Satyam. Shastra is Mithya. Shastra is Mithya. Brahma Vidya is Mithya. Everything is Mithya. Other than Brahman, everything is Mithya. Okay? Even teacher is Mithya. And student also is Mithya. Moksha is Mithya, Bandhanam is Mithya. Anyway, we'll talk about it. Point is, Pratyaksha and Shastra both are equally valid. Shastra reveals Advaitam, Pratyaksha reveals Dvaitam. This reveals form, color, this reveals sound. Sound and form are not one thing, they are different, distinct. Dvaitam. Very clear. And therefore, and based on how will you reconcile? Tell me now. Shastra talks about Advaitam, we have resolved. Shravanam, over. But my Pratyaksha reveals Dvaitam. And Pratyaksha and Shastra has equal validity. It means Dvaita also, which is generated by Pratyaksha, has equal validity as Advaitam. Then what is truth? Dvaitam or Advaitam? That's the question. And of course, Anumana, etc. also, based on Pratyaksha, Anumana, etc. You know, Jeshta Pramana. Pratyaksha is a Jeshta, the big brother. So, and then Anumana, etc. Definitely, reveals Dvaitam only. And so, the darshanas which are based on Pratyaksha, Anumana, etc., they talk about Dvaitam. 5 darshanas, all talk about Dvaitam. Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, all talk about. They are all Tarkika Darshanani. Tarkika Darshana, based on Tarka, Anumana. Anumana is based on Pratyaksha, ultimately. So, they consider Tarka as the main Pramana. They are Astika, definitely they are Astika. So, how can we handle this? Pratyaksha and Pratyaksha Anumana or Anumana based Darshanani reveals Dvaitam. How will you reconcile all these things? We say, Dvaitam is Satyam. See, we change the color now. Because they are 5 and I am alone. They are 4 or 5. All are very hatta. So, I immediately say, Dvaitam is Satyam. Just before few minutes you said Dvaitam is Mithya. Srishti is Mithya and all that. Shouting, and now you say Dvaitam is Satyam. You are a very fearful person. What is this? How can I rely on you? Dvaitam is Satyam. But I add one more thing in between. Dvaitam is Vyavaharika Satyam. Dvaitam is only for transaction. Dvaitam is Satyam only for transaction. Because you transact, we give a reality. That's it. Because you drink a water from the pot, I say, okay, take pot as a reality. If I say, just clay is a Satyam, pot is Mithya, then you will ask me a question. Hey, how can I be able to drink water from the clay? Otherwise, I will drink the water from your head only because your head is clay. I need a pot. If you need a pot and the clay cannot help you for taking the water and drinking the water, I have to give some reality to the pot. Okay, that's a Vyavahara. That's a transaction. Transactional reality. So, Dvaitam is Vyavaharika Satyam. Dvaitam is Satyam, first sentence. Then Dvaitam is Vyavaharika Satyam. So, when you function as a waker, etc., or a dreamer, etc., or a pramata, let's say, karta, bhokta, as a ahankara, then all darshanas are right, including science. When you say ahankara, the individuality is the reality for you. If you say that, I say science is real. Everything is real. Every darshana is real. When you inquire about ahankara's reality, then I say ahankara is mithya. If you say ahankara is satyam for me, the individual is the final reality for you, or the doer, enjoyer, the knower is the reality. There is no further inquiry required. Then okay, science is real. Science is pramana. Okay, real. That's how it is. Anyway, then how come Shruti will negate this? Your Shruti has to negate. If Dvaitam is, Shruti has to say Dvaitam is Mithya. Yeah, Shruti never negates Vyavarika Satyam in a Vyavara. Negates from a Paramarthika standpoint. Shruti introduces Brahman and says everything is Mithya. At the level of a Vyavara, well, Shruti will talk about, same Veda talks about, same Veda. In fact, the voluminous part of the Veda talks about the Pramata, the Karta, Bhokta as a real. Otherwise, whole Karma Kanda addresses not to Brahman. Brahman is Akarta. Karma Kanda addresses to the person who takes himself as a Karta and he wants a certain result he wants to enjoy. So Bhokta also is a real. And definitely Pramata is real because he has to know what karma he has to do in order to gain what kind of a result. So the whole Karma Kanda takes this Pramata, Karta, Bhokta as a real and says you acquire this punyam and you do this Nitya Naimit karma, avoid Sakama karma, this, etc. And avoid even avoid this Nishiddha karma. Brahman is not addressed. But then when you cross the boundary, enters into the Vedanta, Upanishad, then the new reality has been introduced, Brahman. And from that standpoint, entire Karmakanda is Mithya, Karta is Mithya, Bhokta is Mithya, Swarga is Mithya, everything is Mithya. And therefore, basically, whatever, if you take yourself as a Karta, Bhokta, etc., if that's a reality for you, then all other Pramanas are real. Pratyaksha is real, Anumana is real, everything is real. And whatever is revealed by Pratyaksha, Anumana also is real. Therefore, science also is real. Everything is real. But when you come to Vedanta, then a new reality has been introduced to you. In fact, that is the reality which has been introduced. And from that standpoint, every so-called Vyavarika reality becomes unreal. That's how it's. And therefore, from Turiya standpoint, or from Brahman standpoint, Neha Nanasti Kinchana. That's it. Na Iha. Iha means Asmin Loke. In this world. Na Nana. Nana means there is no manyness. There is no duality. Kinchana. Not even an iota of a duality is there. Upanishad says, well, we see only one thing. And that is Brahman. And therefore, you see many. That's not correct. But if you are in a karma kanda, then say everything is real. Swarga is real. You do this karma, go there, enjoy there, you gain this. Avoid this kind of a karma and do this karma and whatnot. Whole thing is within Dvaita. So, this is how it is. Prapancha upashama drashti will come. Na nirodho na cha utpattihi, na baddho na cha sadhakaha, na mumukshu na vai muktaha, iti esha paramarthata. Well, this is how Gaudapada Acharya is introduced. There is no bandhana. There is no question of mukti, etc. This is how it is. So, Advaitam, that's how becomes a most confusing darshan in the world. That's how in older days, they used to tell that give this knowledge to the person who is ready for that actually. And so, Shankaracharya says, that's how the individuality, if it is very strong, your Ragadvesha is very strong, this is not going to appeal. When individuality has become a little soft, ready to be knocked off, then it works. That's how Karma Yoga brings down this individuality to the level where you can knock it off. When Ahankara is loaded with this Ragadveshas and all that, when that individuality is very strong, this is not going to appeal. Not at all. But it has become a little light. Not now, a lot of unloading has been done by Karma Yoga. Then Ahankara has become poo-poo. Then it can go. Otherwise it will not go. That's how many people who are highly individualistic, they think that they are the people who are successful and this and that, and they just negate this Vedanta. They can't. So surrendering of ahankara, etc., is very important. And surrender in terms of bringing Ishvara, surrendering to Ishvara. And that surrendering to Ishvara is ultimately reducing ragadveshas from it. More you give a place to Ishvara in your life rather than to your ahankara. Through Karma Yoga it happens. So that's how Shankaracharya ji says, well, until Advaitam is comfortable, continue in this Dvaitam. Jeev, Jagat, Ishvara, etc. Continue. Be comfortable in that Dvaitam. Jiva and Ishvara relationship. Be comfortable there. Jiva and Jagat, be comfortable. Yeah. Swamiji, Puja Swamiji used to say, you cannot bypass, this Ishvara. You cannot bypass this. So this is the thing. If you want to by just saying everything is mithya, is not going to happen that way. One has to deal with Jagat. One has to deal with Ishvara also. Yeah. Anyway, so Vidyaranya says this is a topic of a second chapter of the Brahma Sutra to negate all this Dvaitam, etc., negation of other Dvaita Darshanam, because they have given a basis to Pratyaksha and Anumana, rather than giving more importance to Veda. That's all it is. Even though they are Astikas, Advaitins basically give a lot of weightage to Veda. Karmakandis also give a weightage to the Veda, but earlier portion of the Veda. They say this Upanishad, etc., is just a Arthavada. Upanishad tells this Karta as a Brahman and motivates the person to do karma. They say that. Upanishad does not serve any independent purpose. Upanishad basically just serve a purpose of doing a stuti of this jiva who is a karta bhokta, etc. Karmakanda alone is the tatparya. Karma alone is a tatparya of the Veda. That's how they say. That's what we negate even in Nishkarmi Siddhi. Sureshwaracharya ji deals in a very elaborate way that how karma cannot give you moksha, etc. Anyway, so Karmakandis and we both, Mimamsakas and Vedantins, both are like they are twin brothers. They give just pramanya buddhi to Veda, total weightage to the Veda. Whatever Veda says, well, they never negate it. These people, Sankhyas, Yoga, Nayayikas and Vaisheshika, etc., they say no, we should give weightage even to Pratyaksha also. Well, we say we cannot give that much weightage. Ultimately, whatever Pratyaksha says, we are able to accommodate. But Shastra talks about some other reality, well, which is even, from that standpoint, even this Vyavahara, etc., also is mithya. Anyway, so this has been dealt, this Dvaita Darshanam has been dealt in the second chapter of the Brahma Sutra called Avirodha Adhyaya. And by introducing three levels of reality, one is Pratibhasika Satyam, which is Pratibhasika. When we introduce three realities, it's within our experience. Pratibhasika Satyam, Swapna, it is my experience, dream. And then Vyavarika Satyam, Jagrat, which is again my experience. And Paramathika Satyam means Sushupti. What is there in Sushupti is Advaitam. That is there in Sushupti is Advaitam. That's all. Because you say that nothing was there. No time, no place, no object. Yeah, nothing was there means there in Shunyam. Yeah, but who said that nothing was there? That he was there. Okay? Some person stands in the middle of the hall and says, Swamiji, nobody has come for your class. Yeah, don't say that. Nobody except you has come on the class. So you are there to say nobody. That cannot be negated. That is Advaitam. Without pramana, it is revealing itself. You imagine, no pramana is there in Sushupti. No senses are awakened. No mind, nothing is there. Yet something is there, which is not revealed by pramana, and yet it is there. That is so Prakasha Atma. That is self-revealing. Doesn't require pramana. Without pramana, if something is revealed, that is self-revealing. What is revealed through pramana, it is not self-revealing. It is revealed by pramana. It's dependent on pramana. This is dependent on pramana. If my eyes don't reveal it, this cannot reveal itself. Clip cannot say I am there, I am there. Clip cannot say I am there. Yeah, but in Sushupti, all pramanas are resolved. So whatever pramanas available to the human being, all are resolved. Yet someone is there. Someone, what someone? You say I slept, I was there. What's your dimension in the Sushupti? What's your dimension? What's the length? What is breadth? Nothing. Self-revealing. Without dimension, Advaitam. If any other thing which you experience in the deep sleep state, you cannot call yourself Advaitam. Ekameva Advitiyam. People say, I have studied so many Upanishads and Atma is Advaitam. I want to experience Advait Atma. It is your daily experience. What are you talking about? Better you gain a clarity about that Advaita Atma by analyzing your own experiences. Don't talk about the experience of Advaita Atma. It's your daily experience. In the form of I, you were there in the deep sleep state and nothing else was there. You are limitless Atma. Well, so you have not analyzed your Sushupti. That's all it is. So therefore, there is no question of an experience of Advaita Atma. Advaita means limitless, by the way. Advaita means limitless. There is nothing other than that means what? When anything else comes, automatically both become limited. Yeah. That's how, when Triputi is there, this triad, the experiencer and experienced object and the very experience in form of a vritti, when this triad is there, well, there is always Dvaitam. Advaitam is not like, you cannot experience Advaitam like you are experiencing a clip or you are experiencing a Dvaitam. Here, clip is clip, you are you, Dvaitam. Therefore, people say, well, I want to experience Advait Atma like I am experiencing clip. It's impossible. It's impossible. When you bring any triad, when you want to experience Advaitam like this, means you are experiencer and Advaita objects, let's say Advaita object to be experienced, there is already Dvaitam. Where is question of Advaitam? Advaitam is just a Swarupa of this experiencer. That's it. Which can never be an object of experience, which is always in the form of this subject. The Swarupa of that subject, Vishayi, the experiencer, is this Advaita. That is what is present in deep sleep state. That's what is present. Therefore, Advaita Anubhava is there. The recognition of Advaita, that Atma is not there. Bring to that clarity. That's all it is, in a waking state. Anyway, so here Arthasya Sambhavana, this establishing reality of Advaitam, well, Artha means this Advaita Vastu, well, with the help of what? Tarkaihi, with the help of reasoning, because we are talking about Mananam, right? So, because other darshanas are Tarka Pradhana, they are giving a lot of weightage to Pratyaksha and Anumana, basically Anumana based on Pratyaksha. And therefore, even in Nyaya Shastra, Sankhya Shastra, all give a lot of weightage to Tarka. So to negate them or to remove the obstacles in my mind, that how can I resolve their darshan, how can I resolve their principles? They are not correct, but how can I resolve? Well, you have to Dvitiya Adhyay, in the second chapter or second pada of that Brahma Sutra, well, has been talked about there. In fact, Avirodha Adhyaya means there is no Virodha with other darshana. That is what is established. Avirodha Adhyaya means not a Virodha or a contradiction in Upanishad. That is gone. That has gone in the Shravanam. One Upanishad talks about Vishishta Dvaita, other Upanishad talks about Dvaita, etc. No. That has gone. Samanvaya Adhyaya. Over. But now with the other darshanas, Sankhya, etc., which are heavily based on Tarka, how will I resolve them? They give a weightage to Pratyaksha. We should give weightage to Pratyaksha, and then Dvaitam will definitely be there. Well, we can resolve it with the help of study of a Brahma Sutra, we can say, Dvitiya Adhyaya. So, with the help of tarka, and what kind of a tarka, that also Vidyarnya says, Dhi swasthya karibihi tarkaihi. Dhi swasthya, by reasoning which convince your intellect, by reasoning which makes your, intellect comfortable. Swasthya means a comfortability. Yes, swasthyam. Dhi swasthyam. Buddhi becomes aswastha when it doesn't get any reasoning. And therefore, so it is not enough that Vyasacharya ji or Shankaracharya ji is convinced. I am convinced. That's all. I am convinced, well, this what Sankhya says or Nayayika says, etc., is not correct. Dvaita Darshanam is not correct. All are Dvaita Darshanam, basically, except us. All are Dvaita Darshan. Vishishta Advaitam also is Dvaitam. When you say Jiva is a part of Brahman, I think I talked to you. Jiva is a part of Brahman, means Jiva is Jiva and Ishvara is Ishvara. Narayana is Narayana. That's all. Jiva is a part of Brahman. I gave you example also. State is a state, country is a country. Right? State is a state, country is a country. Even though state is a part of country, but state is state. Well, so country is country, definitely. And therefore, because its area is different, that is different. So many things, so many powers state does not have, country has. So country is represented in United Nations, not a state is represented. Pennsylvania is not represented in United Nations. In United Nations, nation is represented. Yeah. So therefore, no, but country is ultimately, country is made up of all the states, and therefore state and country is one. No. State is state, country is country. That's how it is. So any leader comes to United States and visit Washington, not our Stroudsburg or Silosburg, okay? And therefore, basically means he represents, he comes from one country and talk to the head of the country, not head of a state, governor or something. Anyway, so this is, they are different. You cannot separate them, please understand. You cannot separate a state from a country. Yet state is state, country is a country. Yeah, that's how it is. And therefore, it is Dvaitam. Vishishta Advaitam, they say. But it is just a cheating. It is just a cheating by them. They are cheating in many ways. And this is one of the way. We are also Advaitam. They say also. In fact, they are called Vedantins. Vishishta Advaitins are called Vedantins only. Yeah, because they take ultimately support from the Upanishad. For them also Upanishad alone is a pramana. Vedanta alone is a pramana. But they have derived this. Not just Kevala Advaitam. Vishishta Advaitam. They have extracted a juice of a Vishishta Advaitam. We have extracted a juice of just Advaitam. There is no entity called Jiva. This is our flag. We start with this. There is no entity called Jiva. That's it. Over. Moment you bring a Jiva as an entity, as a reality, problems are not going to be over. I am going to talk to you. When a Jiva is invoked, an individual is invoked, problems are not going to end. Believe me, throughout the life. One can negate all the problems by negating individuality. That's the only solution. At the level of a ahankara, at the level of a jiva, at the level of an individual, one can never be free from problems, including sannyasi. Sannyasi also has an issue. Yeah, because now he is getting old. Now he should have another Pithadipati. And that's a huge fight going on. Huge fight going on. And sannyasi has his own issue. If he's an individual, then his back is, all the time have an ache and this problem and that problem. And every level there is a problem. Negation of problem is by negation of ahankara. That's it. There is no way out. And in this, Vedanta stands on the top. Problem is you, the solution is you. Is this. I am problem if I say I am an individual. Solution is you if I say I am Brahman. That's it. There is no other way. Right? But why ahankara, you say, why at the level of ahankara problem can never go? Because ahankara is born of prarabdha. And I have a huge lot. I am such a champion person that I have saved a lot of things, both white and black. Everything I have saved for infinite janmas. Ahankara is born of prarabdha, it's just a common sense. People try to solve keeping their individuality all the time, and they have never solved the problem. Till today, not a single person in the world who has gone in the past, who are right now, from my and your standpoint, the person may look very happy. He is a very happy person. You go and ask the person how many problems he has. It is impossible. Only negation of ahankara, looking upon it, the reality of even ahankara is the reality. When ahankara becomes mithya, the problems automatically become mithya. That's the solution. So I am the problem, I am the solution. And therefore, you and me as a seeker has to negate all the time ahankara is mithya. And therefore problem is mithya. Ahankara is mithya. And therefore even while discussing Titiksha etc. in Vivek Chudamani, Shankaracharya ji adds one thing. He said apratikara purvakam. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam apratikara purvakam. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam. All the dukkhas in the life has to be endured. Apratikara. Pratikara means prayashchitam. Means if a small problem comes, you try to find a solution. By the time you solve it, some another new problem will come. Bigger problem. And then you try to solve it and you feel harsh. Then another problem comes. So he said, give it up. Apratikara. Let them be there and endure them happily. Let them be there. This is in the sadhana chatushtaya, titiksha. But for a seeker, especially of a nididhyasana, he has to resolve by negating. This is at the level of ahankara. This is at the level of individual. This is at the level of individual. This is at the level of individual. I am not an individual. I am the very truth of the individual. I am just consciousness. I am not a conscious being. I am consciousness. Well, that's the only solution. Therefore, I am the problem. I am the solution. Anyway, so I'm here. I'm convinced by this argument, well, basically, and tarka means the swastikari bhi tarkaihi. Well, I will do a reasoning by which I can make my mind, well, a convincing, comfortable. So this swastika means this comfortability to this intellect, convincing to the intellect. It's an adjective to the tarka. The swastikari bihi tarkaihi. So you support through mananam, you give a reasoning to your mind by which you can resolve this kind of pratikandhas which are at the level of intellect. So for this Advaitic teaching, well, Advaitic teaching should be established through process called mananam, and it has been given in the Dvitiya Adhyaya of the Brahma Sutra. So Samanvaya Adhyaya Etat Suktam, in our here words, Samanvaya Adhyaya Etat Suktam indicates a Shravanam, first Adhyaya of the Brahma Sutra, and Dhisvasthikari Bihi, well, is a description of a Mananam, and Dvitiya Adhyaya Irita, so means basically the second chapter of the Brahma Sutra helps you, gives you data so that your mind becomes healthy, convincing, comfortable. So that those tarka has been given to you. In fact, there is a one pada in the Brahma Sutra second chapter is called Tarka Pada. It is Tarka Pada. So Vyasacharya ji and even Bhashyakara also does not take any support of any Upanishad in the second chapter and still refutes all those people, these Nayayikas and Sankhyas and all, just at the level of Tarka, at the level of just arguments, Anumana, etc. he uses and resolve it. So Ditiya Adhyaya Irita. And then third chapter, of course, has not been talked about. Third chapter of Brahma Sutra is called sadhana pada. Sadhana pada means now you can understand karma, upasana, all this sadhana chatushta sampatti, nididhyasam, etc. That is discussed in the third chapter. So it is not said, but we have to understand it. Anyway, I think we'll keep it up to this point, and verse 103 onwards we'll see. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.